Hi, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk About This. We are back after me taking a few days off. I needed to get away for a little bit, I needed a break. But we're back, and I have a new guest who's on today with me. Her name is Dr. Demetrius Nordelius. She has a doctorate's degree in nutrition from Maryland University and has publications in autism, biotin supplementation, vitamin D, and HIV among teens. She completed her fellowship with the CDC and vitamin mineral supplementation in the area of sickle cell disease among WIC mothers. As a registered licensed dietitian for more than 23 years, she is an expert in nutrition and has been featured on a numerous podcasts on her purpose to reduce disease and promote disease prevention in a holistic manner. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome Dr. Demetrius Nordelis. How you doing, Demetrius? Dr.
Thank you.
Demetrius?
Very well.
Good.
Thank you for
Yeah.
inviting me.
Thanks for
I'm
coming
very
on.
excited about this podcast.
Thank you. I am too. I'm working with a new software today, so you got to bear with me. Just learning these new softwares and trying to keep up to date with technology is, something that's necessary. You always want to upgrade and do something better. So we want to get into our discussion today on diabetes. Why the question I want to ask you is why do you think that the statistics are so profound, and what should we know to decrease these numbers?
Well, thank you again, Crystal, for asking me this question. I can tell you, working in healthcare, you see a lot, and you know that there's a great need, and you know that we need to get better in our health. According to the Office of Minority Health, in 2018, African adults were 60% more likely than non-Hispanic white adults to be diagnosed with diabetes by a physician, and in 2019 non-Hispanic blacks were twice as likely as non-Hispanic whites to die from diabetes.
Mm,
So we know that we need to do a better job. We need to do a better job in our eating. We know that food prices are increasing. We're not saying that you shouldn't have some type of budget, but we're trying to say because of the changes in healthcare, we need to understand things have to change.
mhm,
We know that diabetes is a disease that occurs when your blood glucose, also called blood sugar, or like the old people used to say, sugar diabetes, is too
mhm,
high. Blood glucose is the body's main source of energy. Insulin is a hormone made by the pancreas,
mhm,
helps glucose get into your cells to be used for energy. In
mhm,
type 2 diabetes, your body doesn't make enough insulin or doesn't use insulin well. Too much glucose then stays in your blood and not enough reaches your cells. Over
mhm,
time, too much glucose in your blood can cause health problems. A
mm,
study found that biological risk factors, including weight and fat around the abdomen, are primarily responsible for higher rates of diabetes for Black Americans compared with white Americans. Our concern, what we need to do is eat more fiber.
mhm,
What is fiber in particularly? It's food that your gut doesn't really break or absorb, but it helps your bowel movement get bigger. And when your bowel movement is collecting all that grease, all that stuff, all that gut inside your stomach, you eliminate it through the bowel movement, and that keeps your weight manageable. So
mhm,
I'm focusing on dark green leafy vegetables. We know
mhm,
that kale is a great source of vitamin A, vitamin
mhm,
B6, vitamin C, vitamin K, copper, potassium, calcium, and manganese.
mhm,
If you don't like kale, you could do arugula. Arugula does not have high levels of carbs, fat, or sugar, which keeps the calories in this vegetable low. It's full of vitamin A, vitamin C, and vitamin K.
mhm,
We know that spinach has very little sugars and is very high in fiber.
mhm,
We know that collards, not only for Thanksgiving and Christmas, y'all, collard
mhm,
greens are beneficial for bone health as well as reducing your risk of cancer. We understand
mhm,
cabbage is a great source of folate, manganese, potassium, and calcium. Cabbage and is high in B12. Also, if you want to combine, you can combine the spinach with the collards with the arugula. Beet greens are also a great source to enhance your immunity, and it's full
Mhm.
of vitamin A and K. They are high levels of beta carotene and carotenoids lutein.
Mhm.
According to a Harvard Health study, low glycemic foods, which is a glycemic index of 55 or less, are mostly contained or found in fruits, vegetables, beans, and minimally processed grains, pastas, low fat dairy, and nuts. So let
Mhm.
me just park there with low glycemic foods. That's your
Okay.
salads. That's your fresh fruits. That is your beans. You can
Mhm.
use fruits as a carbohydrate source. You can use beans as a carbohydrate source. When I say minimally processed grains, that's exactly what I'm referring to. Minimally. So if it's
Mhm.
made with white flour, white sugar, white rice, white bread, that's not minimal. That's highly processed. And that's where we fail as a community. We eat a lot of those foods. We even
Mhm.
drink our sugars with sodas and not real juice. All those Hawaiian high seas, all that. There's not real juice. It's sugar, some brominated vegetable oil, artificial color, and we put that in our bodies. So
Mhm.
we have to be very careful on what we're doing because it does affect us in the long run, and we do pay a price. We do pay a price.
Right. Right. So let's back up a little bit. For those who don't know, or the people who are not diagnosed with diabetes, pretty much what could you first of all explain to them what diabetes is and what can cause you to have diabetes? Because a lot of people are consuming, and including myself, we consume all these different foods and we don't know how detrimental it is to us and to our bodies. So what should someone do to prevent from having or being diagnosed with diabetes?
Well, you should take health seriously. People think healthcare is going to be here to keep giving you insulin pens and insulin injections and giving you new pancreases and new kidneys. What you need to understand is your weight is very important, okay? But consider your body a temple. Consider that you learn from your previous generation, wherever your household culture, and you pick up their bad habits. And it's okay when you're 10, you're 15, nothing's happening at 25. And then something happens at 30, 35. The organs are 30 years old. So you
Mhm.
think about it. Your pancreas is secreting insulin to keep up with the food you're eating. You and I both know you're not really physically active. You're eating a ton of food. You're eating rice. You're eating French fries. You're eating pies. You're eating cakes, drinking soda on a regular basis. And your pancreas is trying to keep up until it puts out. It just stopped working. And that's where you
Mhm.
have to get pills to help it to work some more. And then when it's done working, you got to get pig insulin or some other animal insulin to help you to bring down the sugars and put them in your cells, when you really have to consider what you're eating. And so the high glycemic index is a glycemic index of 70 or higher. And those foods will help walk you right to diabetes land. White
Mhm.
bread, white rice, cake, crackers, bagels, cookies, donuts, um, brownies, some of the breakfast cereals if they're not a whole grain base. Those are type of foods over time. If you don't be careful, you will overwork your insulin in your pancreas. So that's what happens. The pancreas is tired.
Mhm.
You've eaten like the rice. You've eaten a serving of rice like for 4 people. You've
Mhm.
eaten a piece of cake for like 5 people. You've eaten ice cream and ice cream again for like 3 or 4 people, and you go sit down. You don't
Mhm.
even burn those calories. And then your poor pancreas is trying to keep up and spit out all this insulin, and then over time it'll just spit out less and less and less. So the key
Mhm.
thing is to know to consume the low glycemic foods, which
Mhm.
is the whole grains, which is the beans, the fruits, the salads, and monitor and maybe reduce your portion sizes, because your stomach is the size of your fist. So if you're really not burning those calories, you really don't need to be eating so many carbs.
Mhm.
Instead of white rice, do brown rice, but not unlimited portion, just a half a cup. Put that on the
Mhm.
plate. The plate's still naked. We're gonna talk about that.
Right.
Um, Instead of quick oats, we love us, instant quick oatmeal. You have to kind of look at the steel cut. The steel cut takes about 45 minutes to cook, but it has the fiber. You're gonna have a bowel movement. Instead of cornflakes, try all brand or brand cereal. It has
Mhm.
fiber. It's going to help you out. It's going to get the gut down. It's going to make sure that it slowly releases sugar in your body. We don't want
Mhm.
food to break down quick into sugar in your body. We don't want that. Instead of a
Right.
baked potato, do a sweet potato. At least you get the vitamin A, you get the fiber and the potassium.
Mhm.
Instead of white bread, try whole grain or Ezekiel bread, something that's
Mhm.
going to benefit you.
Right.
Instead of corn, because some of it is genetically modified, I don't even suggest corn. Try
Mhm.
dark green leafy vegetables. We love what we love and we eat what we eat. And some people are even on Instagram making it a fashionable thing to make the soul food a everyday thing. We cannot afford to eat soul food every day.
Mhm.
And the times we do eat it for holiday times, we can portion our plate in a way where we're not suffering at the end. So
Mhm.
the lean meats, when you cook your greens, you do some smoked turkey. Leave the ham hocks alone, please. Do a beef flank. You don't always have to get the meat that's with marbling with fat. Do a 97% ground lean beef, lean chicken, lean turkey. Okay,
Mhm.
chicken breasts. They're huge, so cut it in half. You could do dark meat. You could do skinless drumstick, or take the skin off the drumstick. Take the skin off the thigh.
Right.
Get into the muscle fibers. Take that fat out of there.
Mhm.
You could do fish, salmon, pollock, halibut, cod, sea bass. You can do how you want to with the fish. I'm just saying, don't fry it. If you're gonna
Mhm.
pan, steam it or whatever, use olive oil. Please don't use the vegetable oil. Please, I'm begging. I'm on
Right.
bended knee. Please do not use vegetable oil for nothing. You could use your olive oil. You could put it in the oven. You could put it on the grill. You could boil it. You could steam it. There are many ways. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, there are ways to prevent type 2 diabetes in children, in teens, in kids, and adults.
Mhm.
And the rules apply across the board. Being physically active, okay,
Right.
lowers the risk of type 2 diabetes because it helps the body use insulin better. So we got to move. You
Mhm.
know, it decreases insulin resistance. Physical activity improves health in a lot of ways by controlling blood pressure, boosting mental health. Okay. We want to make over our meal. We want to do a meal makeover.
Mhm.
Okay. So we're going to drink more water and less sugary drinks. And
Mm.
that's above board. That's your
Mhm.
sodas, that's your cooladas, your frappuccinos, all this iced coffee, all this new stuff that we are
Mhm.
doing, this Starbucks visit. We need to get back to basic and just drink water. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
Eat fresh fruits and vegetables, not canned fruits. No, ma'am, no, sir, no canned vegetables. Get you a grapefruit, peel it, sit down
Right.
and drink it, drink your water, go about your business. Not
Mhm.
canned fruits, not frozen fruits, not frozen veggies, fresh. Okay.
Mhm.
Whatever that you think is your favorite food that's healthy, eat more of it. So I like kale. I'll have a
Mhm.
kale salad, and then I like grapefruit. So I may throw the
Mhm.
grapefruit in the kale. I just do something like that. Um, get the kids, not only the kids, the adults, the elderly, get everybody into the idea of making healthier meals. So when you're in the kitchen and say you're making spaghetti, you can do the whole grains pasta. The
Mhm.
color looks similar as white pasta, but it's healthier. Then you
Mhm.
can do a lean ground beef. You can do fresh tomatoes in addition to the pasta sauce. You can really get those vitamins and minerals in.
Mhm.
One key
Mhm.
thing I think I want to say though, Crystal, is eating slowly. Everyone's in a rush. You got teeth. That's the first form of digestion. You're chewing.
Mhm.
It takes at least 20 minutes to start feeling full. So if you're trying to get rid of a whole plate of food in 10, you're gonna cause more problems than you need to have. Chew,
Mhm.
eat, chew, chew, chew. That's a healthy bolus, then swallow. If you
Mhm.
chew fast, you may not be able to digest appropriately, and that causes other GI issues. Take your time and eat slowly. Make
Mhm.
time to eat your food. Okay, eat
Yeah.
at the dinner only, not in front of the TV, not in front of the computer. Don't reward with food. Don't reward yourself with food.
Right.
Um, when you're shopping, if you have to take your mom or your children, y'all go together. Make it an event. Go out on a full belly, and I don't go anywhere hungry. That's a
Mhm.
setup. Mm-mm.
Right. Yeah.
Um, Read the food labels.
And fast food is
Have
a
meals
crack.
together as opposed to by
Mhm.
yourself. Because by yourself, you have a whole bag of Ruffles. It's not happening. They're gonna be done before you think about it. The whole bag of chips is finished.
Mhm.
Um, if you're done, you're done. Don't insist on you got to clean your plate. If you're full, you're
Right.
satisfied, not full. But if you're content, I'm not wasteful. But if you're content, you're content. You don't want to stretch your stomach. Um,
Right.
like I said, learn serving size. If your plate's too huge, get a smaller plate. Um,
Mhm.
Plate your food appropriately so you don't have to do seconds. So if you feel like you're hungry, do more vegetables. Do a double, triple serving of veggies. Do not reward with food, please.
Mhm.
But try to get in at least 60 minutes of physical activity, at least 20-minute increments. That's very helpful.
Right. So, another thing I know for me, I just want to mention that for people who are busy and have these really busy schedules, and people who, like myself, I have this bad habit of eating fast food. That's my biggest problem. And I
Oh,
realized that with fast food, I don't eat it as much as I used to, but I was wondering why, because I take blood pressure medication. And I asked my doctor, I said, why am I on blood pressure medication? She said, because of the fast food has a lot of salt in it. So I found myself cutting back on a lot of salt because I used to put salt on everything, my fruit, like everything. I don't care what I was eating. I don't do that anymore, but I noticed that when I cut back on the salt, anything that I eat, I start to taste the salt in it. Like everything I eat is tastes so salty, and that's maybe because my body has gotten used to me cutting back on the salt. What could you tell someone who has a busy schedule and is constantly on the go? How could they prepare meals, more healthier meals rather than stopping at a McDonald's or Burger King, or just grabbing those fast foods?
great question. Thank you again, Crystal. You're so right. Everyone's working two and three jobs, and this is where we're going to get very creative, and we're
Mhm.
going to start getting those Tupperware to go containers, and we're going to get those outdoor canteen containers. You can use Celtic salt or kosher salt. You can use those salts. The crystals are bigger. You're not going
Mhm.
to use as much as the iodized salt. The
How about sea
iodized salt
salt?
have
It's
small aluminum particles in it, so that's what cuts the vessels. That iodized
Mhm.
salt is very dangerous. I don't recommend it for no one really, but
Mhm.
I would say, Crystal, first things first. When you're getting up in the morning, you should really hydrate the gut with water and not
Mhm.
cold water. That's why in sometimes you'll see the English people drink a hot cup of tea. That's suggestive when you're getting up.
Mhm.
Secondly, if you can do maybe a banana, an apple, and a yogurt, that'll suffice for breakfast. It don't have to be bacons and eggs and grits and a biscuit. I promise you that's very heavy. If
Mhm.
you are nowhere near healthy food, you definitely want to take key things. 2 or 3, 4 fruits, definitely a nice sizable salad with certain key components in it. A dark green leafy, maybe a couple of servings of fruit. Maybe
Mhm.
you want to enhance it with some black beans or red kidney beans, and maybe a piece of chicken breast.
Right.
Okay, and then if you decide you want to get, a side item from Wendy's, a baked potato, that's fair. But you can
Mhm.
take your baked potato with you, with your chicken salad, with your turkey salad, with your shrimp
Mhm.
salad, with your ham salad, and that's safe. You're sitting, you're not really moving, but you're not hungry, but it's not heavy. And no later than
Mhm.
7 o'clock, you may have a hot meal. It may be a salmon, mashed potato, and green beans. It's not
Mhm.
going to take 3 or 4 hours to cook. It's just not.
Mhm.
You're gonna
Right.
have your salmon pre-seasoned. You're gonna have it quick. You could throw it in the air fryer. You're gonna make your preparation very healthy but quick and easy. Get
Mhm.
that chicken breast, have it pre-seasoned, put it in the air fryer, put it in the oven, put it in the oven with the sweet potato and also the green beans. You baked your whole dinner.
Mhm.
Okay? If you
Mhm.
can't do that, your sandwiches are helpful. Get it on Ezekiel bread. Get a boar's head turkey. Get an unsalted cheese.
Mhm.
Put your tomato slices on it. Put your romaine lettuce on it. Enjoy your sandwich, and then have a couple of fruits on the side, and maybe a low sodium bowl of soup. a bean based soup, something like that. You can never
Right.
go wrong. For me, I like the half a sandwich and salad from Panera. It's safe.
Mhm.
It's just enough carbs. It's not too much.
Mhm.
So you may have to get a Ezekiel bread that's pretty grainy, and get
Right.
your half a sandwich. Low fat mayo, and get your bowl of soup, and get your two fruits, and enjoy your meal.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah,
Okay.
because you can't.
And
You
then
can't be.
let me piggyback on the eating out. Okay.
Okay.
When you eat out, for sure, off the board, it's going to have preservative, which is salt. It's off. Salt is one of them. Sodium
Okay.
bicarbonate, all those things, um, all those preservatives, they're going to be there. The key
Mhm.
thing about that is being mindful of what you're ordering, because when you're out, you're not mindful.
Right.
Wendy's, Burger King, McDonald's, they all have nutrient analysis on their food items. They just don't
Mhm.
make it available to the public like you would think they would. You have to literally
Mhm.
Google, okay, what's in a Dave single, and what's in the small fry, and then you start adding up numbers, and you be like, whoa, not only am I having my pressure to be high, but in about 10 years, I'll probably have a low dose of diabetes, or, a low dose of high cholesterol. And then they'll put it all three together and give you all these pills and kill your liver. So you
Right.
do want to be mindful. Maybe date nights every Friday. You know what? Maybe it's gonna be an at home date night. You just
Mhm.
want to give. Sometimes you may have to fast. You just have to give your
Mhm.
organs a break. Point blank. Period. Because
Mhm.
that stuff is very harmful. They use very saturated fats, trans fats. They use the iodized salt. They use the white refined flour. They use everything bad for it to taste
Right.
good, and then you do it on a regular basis. And no
Mhm.
pill is going to undo your eating. I'm just telling
Mhm.
everyone on this podcast. No
Mhm.
pill is going to undo your eating. That's unfair. You cannot put it
Right.
all on a pill. You have to stop. You have to stop. You have to really say, you know what? I really love the mac and cheese, but today I'm gonna do
Mhm.
mashed potatoes, and I don't want
Mhm.
no butter on it. I'll do a little low fat sour cream. You gotta make some negotiations with your health. You really do.
Mhm. Yeah.
Because if you continue to eat the way you're not supposed to, and think a pill is going to save you, it's not, because your
Mhm.
liver still has to detox that out your body. So
Right.
it gets down to just habits, to say, you know what, I've been drinking Sprite all week. I didn't drink no water. Just look in the mirror and be like, I ain't do it. I just didn't do it. Let me
Mhm.
try. Let me put a little lemon in it, because I don't like the taste of water. Or let me squeeze a
Mhm.
little orange in it, or a little lime. But I got to stop drinking the soda. It's
Mhm.
liquid sugar. It's gonna get me.
Mhm.
So that's how you gotta
Mhm.
negotiate with yourself. I know this is bad. This is Sunday. Okay, let me be good for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. Like, you gotta negotiate with your body.
Right. Yeah, that's true. That is so true. Yeah, I've been doing that lately myself. I started taking control of, the things I eat lately, because like I said, I had a bad habit of constantly eating out. That was my bad habit. Now, sweets, I don't have a problem with, because I'm not a big sweet eater, but it was just fast food, grabbing food on the go. So I promised myself that I wanted to drop 60 pounds so I can get off my medications and
Okay,
start.
so let me stop you
Yeah.
there. Let me stop you there. Let me talk about the plate model. So the
Mm-hmm.
plate model is a circle of a plate, and you
Okay.
draw half of it is vegetables. The fourth of it is protein, and the fourth of it is rice, or
Mm-hmm.
mash, or baked potato, or baked sweet potato, or green or beans. Those
Mm-hmm.
are alternative carb sources. But your
Right.
plate model, when you get a plate of food, 9 times out of 10, most kitchens have no veggies to serve. It's going to be
Mm-hmm.
two things: meat and starch. So one thing right there, we have to introduce veggies. And if you don't have
Mm-hmm.
nothing cooked, get you a salad. But half of that plate is vegetables.
Mm-hmm.
So the plate model is saying, if you're gonna serve yourself some food, you unfairly cannot do half meat and half starch. You can't. You
Mm-hmm.
have to do half veggies, a quarter meat, and a quarter carbs.
Mm-hmm.
That right
Mm-hmm.
there is gonna help you. But if you're
Mm-hmm.
really serious, then take the carbs off the table altogether, and just do lean meat and veggies and
Mm-hmm.
fruit and a
That was
bunch of water.
mm-hmm.
And I
That was one.
promise you, you will see results. But then if you
Mm-hmm.
make a U-turn to the fast food restaurant, you start over, because
Right.
the we just can't compete. It's
Right.
man-made stuff, so we can't compete with the preservatives. We can't compete with the artificial flavors, artificial colors. We can't compete with the unhealthy fats. You just have to
Mm-hmm.
reset and start over, because once you're doing so well and you see a good stride going, the moment you say, okay, I'm good enough, I'm good, let me go ahead and get number one, then the
Mm-hmm.
body remembers, oh, she back on her old habits.
Right. Right. Yeah. And yeah. Because we grew up eating this. Like you said, we grew up. eating this way, and it's habits that we have to break. But once you break those habits and you start eating right, you get used to wanting that healthier food rather than that, the stuff that's not bad for us. So that's one of the things I've been doing lately is just paying attention more to the things that I'm putting in my mouth, and like you said, drinking more water, and kind of trying to stay away from the sodas as much.
So you can make okay, so you can make natural juices. If you have a
Hmm.
juicer, you could take your beets, you could juice your beets, throw in there a little pineapple to taste, put
Right.
it on ice, and you have a vitamin A enriched something so powerful soda can't compete with.
Hmm.
You could take your orange, you could take your grapefruit, you could take your lime and make a natural high potent vitamin C natural juice. You
Hmm.
can do that. But
Right.
I would just prefer for fruits especially you eat it
Hmm.
fresh and raw.
Hmm.
Because more than likely you're going to have to double up, quadruple up on the amount, and that's going to add to the increased sugar content. So if
Hmm.
you wanted to have a natural tea, you could do chamomile tea, and
Hmm.
you could sweeten it with something like date syrup, something natural. I'm
Hmm.
not saying we're not to use sugar or white sugar. I am saying you're not to use white sugar. I'm saying also too you could use natural organic sweeteners.
Hmm.
So if
Hmm.
you get a date syrup or a date sugar, it's not going to be as sweet as white sugar at all. That's going to
Hmm.
reprogram your taste buds because
Right.
our taste buds are spoiled with salt and sugar and fat. And
That's
like you
true.
said, the moment you stop all that salt, you'll be able to taste salty stuff. The
Yeah.
moment you stop all that sugar, when the moment you put something sweet in your mouth, you're like, ooh, this is too
Hmm.
sweet. But you've been doing
Yep.
this for a minute. So your
Yep.
taste buds were like overwhelmed with sweet stuff, salty stuff, sugary stuff. But if you start cleaning your palate, start
Hmm.
fresh, you'll get to retrain your palate and then you'll get to love more of the healthy food
Hmm.
and reject the unhealthy food because your taste buds will be like, it's too
Right.
sweet for me. And
Yeah.
that's your first defense, your taste buds. But if you overwhelm them with a lot of sugar, a lot of salt, a lot of fat, the second defense will be, your pancreas. Unfortunately, it'll just overwork. And you
Hmm.
don't want that. Like, don't eat 12,000 calories and go sit down. Eat
Hmm.
500 calories because you're going to sit down. Eat
Hmm.
for what your physical activity is,
Hmm.
and a lot of people are picking up liquid sugars. They're doing the iced coffee, they're doing all the syrups, they're doing a lot of things from a liquid point of view, and they're drinking their sugars that way too.
Hmm.
We know about the sodas, but there are other offenders. We know about the juices, but we have new stuff on board. We have these fancy teas, these
Hmm.
fancy cooladas, frappuccinos, cappuccinos, this, that, and the third, and that's
Hmm.
a bunch of sugar too, a bunch of
Right.
calories too. And it's like, but it's liquid, yeah, but you still got to count it.
Hmm. Yeah. So let's talk about the pantry. Tell the community a little bit about Healthy Always 365 Food Pantry. Uh, I understand that you're the CEO of this particular foundation.
So it's
Oh.
a nonprofit. It's a 501c3 status. It's
Mhm.
registered with the Department of Agriculture, and it is a food pantry.
Mhm.
And I'm the executive director of the food pantry. It's been started from 2017. It's 7 years old, and we have our first this year. This our first new site in Miami, Florida, Pontana Park, where we were able to feed 24 children, and we sponsored them for the whole school year, and it's called Healthy Always in a Backpack.
Mhm.
So we have ability to go into um, two other schools, and then we're going to expand to other areas of Miami because Miami has a very diverse population. So our next set of schools are going to be to children who don't speak English as a first language. Their first language is Creole.
Mhm.
So we're going to be going into those neighborhoods. Also, I speak Spanish as well, so we'll be going to some of the Spanish neighborhoods.
Mhm.
So we want our children to not go hungry over the weekend. So, because we know our kids eat breakfast and lunch at school, and some go home to no food at all.
That's
So we
true.
don't want them coming in hungry, coming in mentally drained because they just can't wait till Monday to get here. So we want to give them non-perishable food items over the weekend to
Mhm.
help them out.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what does the pantry need right now at this moment?
Well, we are accepting donations. and we have our handles, Facebook /Healthy Always 365 Food Pantry. The website's is currently being built.
Mhm.
We are also planning our first annual charity dinner next year. So we're seeking volunteers for a steering committee for that. And we are also looking for a location so that we could do real food distributions. To your
Mhm.
point, Crystal, food cost is very high. We know that people are in need of food, even with food stamps, even working one, two, three jobs. The food is increasing. It's not going to stop.
Yeah, it
So
is.
we're going to probably partner with the church and the local community and start doing food distributions because we know outside of the healthy always in the backpack program that there's still more need.
Mhm.
So currently, those are three areas that we have need for right now. Um,
Mhm.
and I can tell you, even with the pictures that are on our Facebook handle, Healthy Always 365 Food Pantry, we
Mhm.
are getting more visibility. So, we do want people to see what we're doing. We want them to hear about what we're doing. We have partnered with Blessings in a Backpack. They're out of Louisville, Kentucky, and they're administrating with us the food bags and other items as a registered dietitian that I'm also making sure the kids get balanced need also because our kids are in a very hot climate, they have more hydration need, more protein.
Right.
So this is you know what I've considered to be a need because
Mhm.
I work in healthcare and there's a need for the people just to do right. They need to eat
Mhm.
healthy and not be in the hospital bed. But then in the
Right.
community with the little kids, there's a need that they need healthy food in the house. And
Mhm.
then the community overall, there's an outcry for the food cost so high that we just need to provide that service. And it's not based on income or status or job title. You have people who have it and still come to you know distributions when we had them in the past. They came and
Mhm.
they had concern. They had responsibilities, and they had choices to make food or a car payment.
Mhm.
And that's how high the food costs have gotten now. We have to choose between that or a bill, or that or filling gas in your car. So
Mhm.
we're not naive to what's going on around the world globally, but we're making our impact inside the South Florida area so that we're consistent with our services.
Right. Right. So if anybody wanted to be a volunteer, how could they get in contact with you?
305
If anybody
703
wanted to,
0903 is the contact phone number. 305 703
mhm.
0903. And definitely someone to be able to assist that way. And all of that information too is on the Facebook handle. All of the contact information, the email, all that's available. But the contact phone number is 305
Okay.
703 0903.
Okay. Let's see here. So, I have another question I wanted to ask you. What message would you like to leave to the community, and how can they help you help others?
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you, Crystal. You've been on it this afternoon. Wow. Question after question. Okay. What messages would I like to leave the community? From a health point of view, health is very holistic. I work in the healthcare. I will be working in transplant in April. I have seen it all. It hurts my heart to just see some of the stuff could have been prevented.
Mhm.
Healthcare back in the day, you come in, you get treated, you go home, or you come in, need a surgery, we move things around, get you a surgery. But it's
Mhm.
changing. I don't want to go
Right.
into much detail, but it's changing. We really need people to take charge and take care of their health.
Mhm.
We really need them
Right.
to take charge and take responsibility what they put in their temple, their mouth. It's a cost for it. You almost gotta look at food and say, "You're gonna help me or hurt me." For the
Mhm.
sake of I got $3, I'm gonna go ahead and get the 4 for 4 from Wendy's. Okay. But
Mhm.
maybe you can get a pack of chicken and that can last you for 2 or 3 days. We're gonna
Right.
have to reassess, do more home cooked meals, cook in a healthier way. You know,
Mhm.
not all the time. Of I gotta eat. Sometimes you may just be dehydrated.
Right.
You don't always have to get a bag of Cheetos. You sometimes may
Mhm.
just dehydrate yourself. You know, if
Right.
you look in the toilet and it's not clear, you need to hydrate. If their urine is
Right.
not clear as the water, you need to hydrate. And
Right.
you got some people that don't like water; they'll drink everything but. But you know what? If you keep doing that over 10, 15 years, your kidneys will just give up. If you're
Mhm.
eating a lot of junk, bad quality, fast food and stuff like that, your pancreas will give up. Your organs will suffer, and then
Mhm.
has a luxury of getting another one. So
Mhm.
we're in the time now is, with, I don't know if you heard, with UPS laying off a lot of people, Google, people are getting a lot of layoffs going on. That's
Mhm.
going to be something to consider. Less portion size, less is more, hydrate more, take better care of my health. I don't have to always have three full plates of food 3 times a day. I'm not even burning half those calories. Maybe I do need to just have something like a light bite at breakfast and a healthy lunch and an early dinner. Those are the
Mhm.
type of things we want our community to understand. Um,
Mhm.
how can they help me help others? Um, Call me 305-703-0903 if you're interested in volunteering. We will do more podcasts on different diseases. So we're getting the information out there. We're in plannings of having a food distribution. So we're out there, addressing the needs of the community and
Mhm.
the children as well. So we just want you guys to know that, we care. I care as a professional. I care, um, serving my community, and I want
Mhm.
each of you to care for each other too.
Mhm.
And that can start by taking care of your health, making sure you get good rest, making sure you get good nutrition, making sure you hydrate, making sure, you care for those who don't have. That's what's important to me.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, because and we also got to be careful of these corner stores because in every community, especially in the black community, and there's corner stores at every store, and a lot of the people who live in these neighborhoods go to these stores and they grab all this unhealthy food that's in there. And that's another thing, because you don't see, if you go to a suburban area, you don't see corner stores everywhere. But when you come into a black community, you see corner stores everywhere, just like you see a liquor store or. So that's another thing that we got to be careful of, is grabbing food out of. I remember I used to live next door to this guy, and every single day he used to go to the corner store and eat out of that store every day. And I used to say to him, "Don't you? Is that are that food is not making you sick eating that food every day?" So that's another thing we got to be careful of. Is those
I
little
agree
corner
with you. I
stores.
think we do have to be mindful of our setting and our environment. And
Mhm.
unfortunately, sometimes you are a product of your environment. But
Yep.
you know what? My bishop, he would always say, Bishop Curry, is there anything good come out of Nazareth? Basically saying, look at the Lord, he saved us. And you know what? People doubted him. Like, you make it be in an environment that has only corner stores and everything. You're going to
Mhm.
survive. Clearly, you're in survival mode. And I
Mhm.
understand that. And I'm not speaking against that because that's a real thing.
Yeah.
I'm also referencing too, though, for those people who I know in their mid 40s, 50s, 60s, and they be in them hospital beds, and they gainfully employed, and
Mhm.
they got stuff, and you wondering, why are you here?
Right.
Why are you in this bed? Why do we have to take out your organ? What were you doing? How were you living that you couldn't preserve, because you only get one life and one
That's
body?
true.
Why couldn't you just do a good job at that?
Right.
Those are the people when I go in their hospital rooms and counsel them, I'm asking, why couldn't you just, take that wonderful paycheck and buy the healthy food? What
Right.
was so important that you think food is something that you don't take serious? And
Mhm.
you have to take your food serious. You have to take your vitamins. Take your vitamin D. Vitamin D is very important to keeping your immune system healthy.
Mhm.
Preferably a 10,000 unit 2 or 3 times a week,
Mhm.
or if you want to do once a week, you do a 50,000 unit. Try to get your vitamins in. That's very important.
Mhm.
We don't want malnourished people existing, or poorly nourished or poorly hydrated people, because when we see them, it's like we give them the education and we give them the guidance, but the application is where it matters. You have to
Mhm.
apply what we teach you. That's
Mhm.
any healthcare practitioner would tell you that. If we tell you, please stop eating bacon every morning, there's a reason. If we tell you, please drink more water, there's a reason. We tell you, do not use vegetable oil, there's a reason. And
Mhm.
we see it because the labs tell us, your medical condition tells us, how you're performing, how your body's moving, it tells us, and your body heals itself. So if you give yourself the right nutrients that it needs, it'll heal itself. If your
Mhm.
heart, needs vitamin E or vitamin D, or dark green leafy vegetables, or vitamin C from natural fruits, give it. I
Mhm.
mean, you're not going to get it in a pill. You got to eat
Mhm.
the foods. And if
Right.
it's too expensive, then say, you know what? I like strawberries, I like blueberries, and I like blackberries, but I'm going to stick with the blackberries. I like that, and I'll
Mhm.
work with that.
Right.
Pick one out the category and work it. I
Mhm.
like chicken, I like lean beef, but I really like turkey. I'm gonna stick with turkey. I'm gonna work with that. And then next
Mhm.
week rotate with a different meat. There's
Right.
ways to eat healthy on a budget, and we want our community to be empowered, that even in limitation, look at our ancestors really didn't have much, but they unfortunately had to take scraps from others and make your chitlings and all those foods. But we now know better, that
Mhm.
we don't have to eat that way. We don't have
Mhm.
to eat that way. We can actually buy whole animals and prefer or request lean cuts of it. We can request, olive oil. We don't have to use no oil sitting in the jar or reuse oil. Oil goes bad and is rancid and it will destroy your vessels. We don't want to use old oil. We don't want to store
Right.
up oil. We want to
Right.
use fresh olive oil. We want it
Right.
in a metal can. We don't want it in a plastic bottle. Those
Mhm.
make the difference 10, 15 years later.
Mhm.
You have to know that what you do 10, 15 years ago will affect you.
Right.
It's going to
Yeah.
happen, but let it affect you in a good way. We
Mhm.
are going to age and get older, but you want to have still your organs working. You still want to be able to function well. We're going to put on a little weight. That's understandable, but you
Mhm.
want to make sure you're not driving yourself off a cliff with
Mhm.
the food choices because you don't want to cook. Well, put it in the
Right.
oven. You don't want to be bothered with the stove. Throw it in the
Mhm.
pan. Throw olive oil on it. Put it in the
Mhm.
oven, and get disposable pans. Make
Mhm.
it easy for yourself, but just
Right.
give yourself the opportunity in your health, the opportunity that if you did have a family history of diabetes, make a declaration to yourself: I will be the first in my family to not get
Mhm.
diabetes.
Right.
It's treatable. It can be
Mhm.
diet controlled. We have patients that are on diet controlled diabetes.
Mhm.
That their diets are controlled and their sugars don't get out of control. They stay in control. You
Right.
make a decision. I'm going to be the first in my family not to have high cholesterol. Make a choice. I'm going to be the first in my family not to have liver disease. I'm going to be the first in my family, and you fill in the blank. And then you work towards that goal, because it
Mhm.
can be done. And even if you're diagnosed, it can be managed.
Mhm.
We talk from diet management, and we also talk about disease management. We talk from disease prevention.
Mhm.
So, like I said, if you're not going to follow the diet, the one little pill is not going to save you, because it
That's
cannot compete with you consuming 4,000, 5,000 milligrams of salt a day.
Mhm.
It's just going to overwhelm your liver, and some other organs going to suffer. If
Mhm.
you're taking in 300-400 grams of carbohydrates a day, ain't no pill going to help you. It's going to be that you're going to get some insulin from another source,
Mhm.
and you're still going to be counseled. You need to cut back on it. This is too much. This is overkill.
Right.
So either way you get down to it, you're still going to be counseled. You got to have regulation and discipline, or your body will suffer.
Mhm. Mhm. Yeah, that's true. And also, another thing is I realized that it affects your mental health as well. The foods that you eat, uh, I found out from my research that it can affect the mind as well. When we eat poorly, we don't think right, but when we eat better, we can think clearly. And that's something that I
I tend to
noticed.
agree with you on that. Remember,
Yeah.
um, there's a brain gut connection, so we kind of know that the brain is the brain is as a source, and then we know that also the gut is our second brain. So we
Mhm.
know most of the time when you're having brain fog, you may want to look at your gut and see if you have leaky gut, see if you have polyps, see if you have constipation, see if
Mhm.
are you what's going in coming out.
Mhm.
Is correct. Again, what we eat or don't eat can
Mhm.
affect our gut, and
Mhm.
um, that's important to understand. That a lot of people don't understand how important it is to have a healthy gut. But
Mhm.
I'm going to just say it here. It's important to take your probiotics. If you need little enzymes to help the food digest better, take that.
Mhm.
If you need to eat smaller portions, if you need to eat earlier at night, do not do nothing after 7. If you need to, I would say, do your fluids so you know you're not inconvenienced with, I guess, going to the bathroom at night. All
Mhm.
that is like a job, man. I didn't drink my 32 ounces today. What was
Mhm.
I doing all day? Okay, don't worry. Your body will tell you the next day. Oh,
Mhm.
I didn't take my vitamins for the last 2 weeks. Don't worry. Your body will give you an indication. Oh, you know what? I was eating heavy and just going to sleep. Oh, that's where that extra pot belly came from. Your body will tell you. Your
Mhm.
body's a great, it's the best communicator. So
Mhm.
that's why I said when we look at 10, 20 years of disease development, it don't
Mhm.
have to be so.
Right.
If you decide you don't care, then yeah, the disease will develop and it will get worse, and we'll start cutting off your feet, and we'll start doing all kind of stuff to you because the doctors gonna do what they do. But
Right.
if you want to keep your feet and keep your organs, um, what you put in your mouth matters.
Yeah. You are what you eat, as they say. You know.
And we we know the researchers out there. We know every researcher comes to our community and analyze and assess and reassess and analyze and assess. We
Mm.
know all the numbers. We know everything is looking sad and depressing. What we're here to say is, and even if it's true, we
Mhm.
can still turn that around. Even if
Right.
it's true, even if
That's
you have the whole gamut, the high cholesterol, high blood pressure, diabetes, obesity, uh, cirrhosis of the liver, whatever, it can
mhm.
something can still be improved. I just believe it can't all be bad forever. If you're making changes and you're
Mhm.
consistent, at least 6 months, give yourself 6 months of consistency, you'll see change. And once you
Mhm.
see change, then you can go to your doctor and say, "Hey, I figured it out. I don't need metformin.
Right.
I don't need glyburide. I don't need these meds anymore because I figured out if I eat well enough, all this stuff
Mhm.
will go back in the normal range."
That's
And
true.
in all fairness to the medical side of it, there is a need for medication because we sometimes don't have the discipline.
That's
But we
true.
still have to counsel, hey, in addition to the meds, you still need to do this with your diet.
Yeah.
That
That's
would
all.
be very irresponsible to not say that. Even
Yeah.
if people don't want to hear it, and the truth never changes, you got to do better. Well,
Mhm.
the food is too high. Well, that may be true. The food may be high, but that doesn't mean I'm going to tell you, yeah, go ahead and have 4 for 4 every night. That'll be
Mhm.
irresponsible. I'm still
Right.
going to say, if you have $2, could you consider uh, purchasing some meat and baked potatoes?
Mhm.
Maybe you'll
Mhm.
have boiled chicken on Monday. Maybe you have baked chicken on Wednesday, and
Mhm.
maybe you'll have stir fried chicken on Saturday. We're going to make it stretch. We're going to make it work. We're not going to do anything to insult your pockets or
Right.
do it in a way that's going to harm your body. But could we look
Mhm.
at it on this budget of a shoestring?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. It's all about the choices we make. Choices equal consequences.
Yes,
So we really have to. And like you said, when you start to eat right, because I noticed for myself when I start eating right and start incorporating more greens and fruits and stuff, my bowel movement is I move my bowels more than I normally would throughout the day. I could just tell the difference in your gut. Because when you're eating all that bad food, you feel like so bloated and
cluttered.
yeah, you just don't feel right. But when you start eating all those green vegetables, you definitely notice the difference.
And
You
why
def-
not take it a step further? Why not put the green vegetables in the juice and drink it? And you think that's not going to be
yeah.
suffice or sufficient? I promise you, you could do that
Mhm.
in a yogurt, and it'll hold you. I promise you. I
Mhm.
know you want to. I know you want to go to Starbucks and get your frappuccino, but what would be better served than juicing a little kale and throwing a
Mhm.
little collards or a little apple? That's going. Your
Right.
body will thank you 10 years from now just from that alone.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. Yep. Well, Dr. Demetrius, thank you so much for sharing all this valuable information
You're welcome.
for the
I
audience.
want our people to be healthier, Crystal. I want
Yeah,
our people to pay it forward if someone figured it out, to pay it
right.
forward because our grandparents and great grandparents, didn't have as much, but you know what?
Mhm.
They made more out of less and they were healthier. So we
Mhm.
can get back to that. You know,
Mhm.
what's all available is not for all of us to sample on. You know,
Mhm.
oh, that's new coming out. Let me try this, or let me try that. You know, again, we had meager means, but we
Mhm.
still made it work. You know, the women still, maintained their health, maintained the health of their families, and
Mhm.
we need to get back
Right.
to basics.
Right. That's true. We got to get back to the basics because, like you said, we've been eating all this unhealthy food, myself included, because I like more of the bad food than I like the good food. But like I said, lately I've been paying attention to a lot of what I've been
This
eating.
is the time, the
Yeah,
30s, 40s, 50s. That's that
yeah.
hovering umbrella where you're not young, but you're not old, but you're in the middle, but you still got money. And it's like,
Mhm.
I'm still kicking, but it gets you. It'd
Mhm.
be like surprise,
Right.
and then it's like, whoa, where did that come from? It was building. It's been
Yeah.
building.
Yeah. That's true. Yeah. Yeah, as you get old, it catches up to you.
Oh
Yeah,
yes,
it definitely will catch up to you. So, but yeah, thanks a lot for coming on and sharing all this information. And any
you're welcome.
organizations out there, make sure you guys donate to the pantry. What's the name of the pantry again?
Healthy always 365 food pantry
Okay.
from
And you
Miami to Philadelphia. Crystal, we love you.
Hey, I'm coming to Miami. I got to stop and visit. I got to definitely stop and visit. So
I'm
so
gonna definitely hold you on that. And when I make a wonderful food demonstration or uh, uh, when we do the delivery to the community where we have the food where people come out, I'm gonna say, I'm gonna invite you to because you got to see how we do it over here in the 305. We're a little different. We're a little special.
okay. All right. I'm looking forward to it. So, and for the audience, please make sure you like and subscribe and hit that notification button. It's very important. The more subscribers we get, the more experts we could bring on, like Dr. Demetrius. So please hit that. It don't cost nothing to hit a subscription button. So it don't cost you nothing at all. So I appreciate it if you like and subscribe for this channel. And Dr. Demetrius, thanks again for stopping in. I appreciate it. And let's stay healthy, y'all. It's important. It really is important for us to start changing our habits and eating right. But on that note, everyone have a blessed day.
Thank you.
Bye bye.